Good evening. This is news at sunset on Pensioners 106.7 FM. Agbarigo Oniri Keibado. I am Babafemi Obideyi. First, the top stories. Ghana's president becomes new ECOWAS chairman. Buhari ties increase in petrol pump price, electricity tariff to pandemic. Oyo state government moves to establish 4 more GRAs. And in sports, UEFA hails Osimhen over double hat-tricks. Now the news in full. The president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, has been elected as the new chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. He was elected at the ongoing 57th ECOWAS Summit in Niamey, capital of Niger Republic. Akufo-Addo takes over from President Isufu Mahamadou of Niger Republic. President Muhammadu Buhari is also attending the summit. President Muhammadu Buhari says the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in trying times, not just for the Nigerian people, but also for the government. The president said the country's revenues and foreign exchange earnings have fallen by almost 60% since the pandemic took hold. Buhari's remarks were delivered by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the start of the first-year Ministerial Performance Review retreat holding in Abuja.
The effect of the deregulation is that pump prices of petrol will change with changes in global oil prices. This means, quite regrettably, that as oil prices go higher, we could see some increases in pump price. There is no provision for fuel subsidy in the revised 2020 budget, simply because we are not able to afford such a cost. If reasonable provisions must be made for health, education, and other social services, we simply cannot sustain petroleum subsidies.
President Buhari added that his administration has adopted a 2.3 trillion naira economic sustainability plan to mitigate the effect of the economic slowdown. In a related development, President Muhammadu Buhari says it will be grossly irresponsible to borrow to subsidize electricity tariff amid the economic crunch caused by the lockdown occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who represented President Muhammadu Buhari, said no provision was made for fuel subsidy in the revised 2020 budget, noting that about 1.7 trillion naira has been spent on tariff shortfalls to support the electricity sector since its privatization. The president, who spoke during his second-term first-year Ministerial Performance Review retreat in Abuja, noted that under the new arrangement, only customers who get electricity for 12 hours and above per day would have their tariff increased.
Any loan that we agree to get, we attach it with the particular project. And the issue of pension.
Sorry for the wrong use of insert there. The increase in fuel price and electricity tariff have sparked outrage of late, with the Trade Union Congress and 79 other civil society organizations and labor unions set to hold nationwide protests this week. The suspended acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, has written to the probe panel investigating him to request the appearance of the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami SAN, so he can cross-examine him on the substance and credibility of his allegations. In a letter addressed to the chairman of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry, investigating him for alleged abuse of office, Mr. Magu, through his lawyer Wahab Shitu, applied for the issuance of a subpoena on Malami to appear before the panel to give evidence concerning his memo to President Muhammadu Buhari in connection with the inquiry. Magu says he believes that in line with the fundamental principles of fair hearing, as guaranteed under the Constitution, he is entitled to be confronted with copies of the allegations against him, as well as the opportunity to confront his main accuser, the Attorney General of the Federation. The resumption of forex sales to Bureau de change operators by the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) will strengthen the exchange rate of the naira to the dollar, according to the operators. In a circular, the CBN had announced plans to resume sale of foreign exchange to BDCs as part of efforts to enhance accessibility to foreign exchange. The President, Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, Aminu Gwadabe, expressed concern for the CBN's action on forex sales. According to him, speculators in the forex market had been dealt a huge blow with the sharp drop in the exchange rate, which he said would continue a downward trend with the resumption of international flights in and out of the country. Oyo state government has cleared the air that the loans it takes are not used for recurrent expenditure like salaries, pension and gratuities, but are tied to capital projects in line with Governor Sheyi Makinde's strong will to boost the state's infrastructure. Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Dr. Wasiu Olatunbosun, made the clarification on the Pensioners FM's current affairs program while responding to questions bordering on the loans obtained by the state government. He said the government was setting aside special funds outside the loans for recurrent expenditure.
Any loan that we agree to get, we attach it with the particular project. And the issue of pensioner gratuity that you have been paying, no, it is not part of loan. In fact, I want to say categorically that there's nothing bad in taking loan. But what is bad is using that loan to service recurrent expenditure, either salary, allowances, or even the gratuity that you are talking about. So now, all what you see Governor Sheyi Makinde is doing is setting aside certain amount of money on monthly basis.
On the environmental situation in the state, Dr. Olatunbosun disclosed that more trucks have been made available for waste collection, saying the government has put in place stringent measures to improve the environmental situation.
In a couple of weeks, we will unfold another concept, Green Oyo State, where we'll make sure that at least we have all the refuse contractors and what have you. We have them. And we have many of them who have vehicles. What matter is the vehicle. And they have vehicles now. I'm assuring that we are coming out or coming up with very strong system that will take good care.
Reacting to the recent hike in electricity tariff and petrol pump price by the federal government, the Oyo government spokesman faulted the move, saying it was wrongly timed. He assured the people of the state that the Makinde administration would continue to make policies that would ameliorate the sufferings of the people. Oyo state government planned to create layouts for 4 government-reserved areas, GRAs, before the end of this year. The State Commissioner for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Rahman Abdurrahim, said one would be located at Oludo area, another one at Ido, and one at Lagedu and Onwara interjection. The commissioner urged the general public to call the attention of the government should they see anyone involved in land grabbing. Some political thugs today laid siege to the Ondo State House of Assembly, causing panic around the area. It was gathered that the presence of the political thugs was connected to the rancor within members of the State Assembly. Some lawmakers were alleged to be the target of the thugs. However, men of the State Police Command were said to have prevented the hoodlums from entering the complex. The security operatives mounted barricades at the entrance of the complex and scrutinized whoever was going into the assembly complex. This is news at Sunset on Pensioners 106.7 FM. Let's now talk some labor and pension stories. Health workers have threatened to commence a warning strike on the 13th of September if the federal government failed to address their demands. This is coming against the backdrop of the nationwide strike by resident doctors who downed tools today. Joint Health Sectors Union, JOHESU, and Assembly of Healthcare Professionals said their commitment to resolving issues through dialogue has been taken for granted. In an address, the national chairman of JOHESU, Bill Josiah, urged the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Festus Keyamo, to take over the negotiations between them and the federal government. Your state government has assured pensioners in the state that it will look into the issue of harmonization and make sure those who are shortchanged are brought at par with their colleagues. The Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Dr. Wasiu Olatunbosun, who spoke on behalf of the government, however, charged pensioners who are receiving less than is due to them to exercise patience until the government is done with clearing the backlog of gratuities.
Thank God that we have Governor Seyi Makinde at the helm of affairs, the person who is passionately interested in the welfare of pensioners in Oyo State. And he believes that he's ready to do anything to make sure that pensioners in Oyo State enjoy the fruit of their labor. So this problem has been there for a very long time. It is better we address this issue of gratuity. And the way we are going, I know if we consistent and persistent in this, the way we are doing it, the moment we clear that, it won't be difficult for Governor Seyi Makinde to now say, okay, yes, let's address that.
The Commissioner for Information was speaking when he featured on Voice of Liberation, Pensioners FM weekly current affairs program. This is News at Sunset on Pensioners 106.7 FM. We will be right back with entertainment and sports news. Please stay tuned. Now to entertainment. Veteran Nollywood actor Babalegba is dead. The aged actor, who has been sick for a while, finally gave up the ghost in the early hours of today at his abode in Abeokuta, Ogun State. He joined Alawada Theatre Group in 1974 and played comic roles along with Baba Salah. Sometimes he played Babalawo or police officer. Late Baba Salah's son, Adejumo Boy Salah, took to tributes have continued to pour in from ex-teammates of former Super Eagles defender Ajibade Babalade, who died in Ibadan. It will be recalled that Babalade, aged 48, died of cardiac arrest while being rushed to the University College Hospital, Ibadan. Among those who paid tribute to our former Eagles forward Duke Udi and others. Europe's football governing body, UEFA, has praised Victor Osimhen after he scored his second hat-trick for Napoli in their 4-0 win against Teramo in Friday's pre-season game. Osimhen had earlier netted his first hat-trick in Napoli's second pre-season game in their 11-0 thrashing of L'Aquila. He then repeated the feat in the game against Teramo, who play in the Italian third division. And commenting on Osimhen's hat-trick, UEFA wrote on their verified Europa League Twitter handle, 2 games, 6 goals. To end news at sunset, here is a recap of the main stories. Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo has been elected as the new chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. President Muhammadu Buhari has said that the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in trying times, not just for the Nigerian people, but also for the government. Oyo State government has said it plans to create layouts for 4 government-reserved areas before the end of the year. And in sports, Europe's football governing body, UEFA, has praised Victor Osimhen after he scored his second hat-trick for Napoli in the 4-0 win against Teramo in Friday's pre-season game. For any information, reach us on these mobile numbers 0812 008 6270 or 0812 188 9462. You can also visit us at Pensioners House at Barigo, Onirike, Ibadan. The news editor is Pius Nsabe. Oluwatumishi additional led as a production crew. I am Babafemi Obideyi. Good evening and thanks for listening.